Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to RetroIsland.com. The only site for everything retro. The Retro Island Network for everything retro. RetroIsland.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of I've Got Gameplay. And unfortunately, Mr. Burhan will not be hosting tonight. He is out having fun at a little convention with all of our brothers at RetroIsland.com. But the show must go on, so he left me with hosting duties. I'm your host, Xander Scullion from Excess Gaming Podcast, and I'm also joined by some wonderful lads. The first one I want to introduce, he does reviews and Let's Plays under rose-colored glasses, Mr. Travis Goss, the unradio show host himself. What's up, man?
That was a good intro. Doing good. It's actually rose-colored reviews and rose-colored Let's Play, but that's okay. You know, that's all right. Close enough as I think it is, but doing awesome.
Awesome. And we got another host from the Unradio show, Mr. Greg. What's up, man?
Mr. Craig. I am fan-fucking-tastic. And, I had a great day today. Actually, I went to a flea market. I picked up a bunch of games. I got a good deal on a few retro games, like Super Nintendo,
nice,
and Sega Genesis stuff. All for, I bought, 10 games for, $60. And plus, PlayStation 3 games, I got a bunch of stuff. So I had a pretty good day today.
Yeah, and it was Free Comic Book today, too.
I know.
Oh, fuck. I want to go hang on in places where there's women dressed up as Harley Quinn. Damn it.
Well, it's funny. I didn't see any Harley Quinns, but I did see a female Spider-Man and a black cat.
Not good enough.
Still not bad. And we do have another co-host with us tonight. I don't know if he's back on Skype or not, but he's the style and profile and dumpster diving man himself, Zach LaCour from Getting Your Nerd On. Zach, are you there? All right, he's not here. Hopefully he didn't fall asleep.
I'm going to go over there and knock on his door.
Don't make me pull an Archer again. That hurt my throat last week.
Oh my gosh! No. Yeah, I don't. We'll have to ask him when he comes back on. We'll have to put him on the spot. We'll just interrupt news and we'll go into his sleeping patterns. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a very interesting show, and I think the first thing that we're going to go into is, of course, our usual segment we always start the show off with. While I try to find the soundboard.
Let's dig through all of them.
I know, Burhan has 30 of them. But anyway, here is the I Got Gameplay news. All right, so, guys, you guys have any news?
I got something.
All right.
Something that I just found out 5 minutes before I jumped on here.
That's news.
Yeah, Nintendo had leaked a new hardware machine that it might show at E3, It's a new like Game Boy Nintendo DS. I think they're calling it the Nintendo Fusion DS. Ooh. And new handheld. It's supposed to be kind of like a handheld / like home console kind of like thing. I think it's gonna have like 2 game sticks, kind of like the controllers, and I think it has buttons where you can like move it around. Like you could take like the D-pad out and then like place it like somewhere else on the controller. It's kind of like a weird design. I don't know. They're gonna announce that soon though.
Yeah. I saw some of that you were talking about, and I know Nintendo's been kind of talking about like this fitness console they've been talking about.
Okay.
They've been talking about that, and yep. I'm very curious about what that's going to be. You know, honestly though, when I first heard of a new possible Nintendo hardware coming out, for some reason I was thinking it might be phones. And I was kind of joking with a friend of mine. I was telling her, I was like, man, imagine if they came out with Nintendo phones, and they'd be like, we play, we share, we connect. And she was like, oh my God, quit. That sounds like something they would actually do. You know,
they're getting desperate. You know what Nintendo is always like? They're always looking to like expand and go beyond. You know what conventional gaming is, and I think what they were doing with the whole like Wii Fit and all the exercising things, I think they want to make like a console geared towards like complete physical gameplay. Yeah.
It seems like that's the direction they're trying to go, and also back with us. I had such a great intro for you, by the way. We were joined with Zach McClure. What's up, man?
What's up? How's everyone doing tonight?
Pretty good. We're talking about the news. Did you have any news you wanted to share with us?
Yeah, I had a couple things I wanted to talk about. One I thought was awesome. One of my favorite things that I see happening in games is when people spend their time to make a tribute to something in Minecraft. So in one thing that I had seen, someone made the island from Lost, and they had like all the hatches, and it was really cool. And I think, personally, like as a big fan, I would have loved to have been able to go through that map, or you probably can anyway, and experience it like the way someone had made it. And anyway, I guess recently I saw on Kotaku that somebody made Columbia from BioShock Infinite in Minecraft, and I just think it's so cool. It's just such like a compliment, and you know, when people go out of the way to do this stuff, I just think it's real cool.
I've always wanted to get into Minecraft. I just don't have the attention span. Like, it seems really popular.
It is, man. Once you start playing it, man, it's one of those games where you just can't put down. You don't have to put like a million hours into it at once. You know, it's just something that's like that you grow like your baby. You know what I mean? You go in there, you start building stuff, and it's just like an ongoing project that just goes on and on and on forever.
Yeah, and that's what I've been hearing, and you know, like I can't even keep my town up in Animal Crossing. You know, you know, I'll every time I get an Animal Crossing game, I used to be really big into it in the GameCube days, and then I got them on other systems, and I would play for like maybe a month straight, and then I would just stop playing all of a sudden, and then I would always have in the back of my mind that while I'm not playing, my town is still living, and I would almost like intimidate myself. I'm like, I can't pick it up because I pick it up, all my village people are going to be yelling at me. They're going to be setting my house on fire. There's going to be weeds everywhere. Tom Nook's going to be going bankrupt because I'm not giving him any more money. So I just, after a while, you know, I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm not going to play Animal Crossing anymore.
Let them die.
Yeah,
you were the kid who let the Tamagotchis die, right?
Oh my God! Don't even get me started on those.
Although they're making a comeback, though.
Yeah.
Oh no, really?
The Tamagotchi game for the DS that uses your Miis as almost like a sim game. It looks really cool.
Don't let it die. It looks like you.
Yes, for the 3DS. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
nice.
cool. That's really cool. You know, the cool thing about the 3DS is, like, you could just close the thing up and it keeps running. You know, and then like, you got the whole Street Pass thing. I think that's actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah,
I think it's cool. Now, did you guys ever, back in the day, with the home consoles, you didn't have some of the games, you didn't have save points. Did you ever like turn your TV off and leave your console on?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, I still do that.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
man.
If I'm not around a save point and I got to do something else, it's staying on. There's no way I'm turning it off.
And you had another news article, right, Zach?
I had one more thing. I don't know what you guys had talked about before I got here, but I was reading an article about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare is the newest one coming out. So they started off. What was the first one like? Or 3 was like World War II or something, wasn't it?
Well, you had the Modern Warfares and the Black Ops, and then the last one that came out was Ghost.
Yeah, no, I mean like the older ones. Like the third one, I think was like World War II or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was World at War.
That's what they started with. They started. Yeah. It was Finest Hour, which was a World War II game, and then Call of Duty 2, which was a really awesome. To this day, my favorite World War II shooter. And then the third one, I think it got stale, and that's where like Treyarch started taking over, and they continued with World War, and they did like the World War II stuff, where Infinity Ward did the whole Modern Warfare thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah, then there was Modern Warfare and Black Ops and Ghost, and now this new one is called Advanced Warfare, and it actually not only has Kevin Spacey, like, doing voice acting, he's actually in the game.
I saw that. It's creepy how realistic he looks, too.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, though, is a lot of people give Call of Duty flack. I mean, I've done it. I mean, we've had these Call of Duties come out yearly, but I actually saw the trailer.
Every 9 months.
Yeah. And then, you have like 2 of them that come out a year. And I watched the trailer, and sadly, I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah,
it
actually did look pretty cool. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, Call of Duty, you could say, I'm sick of it. A lot of people are sick of it, but you know what? It's a tight shooter. And, you can't say you never had a hell of a time playing that game.
Unless you suck at first-person shooters.
Yeah.
I used to be really bad at first-person shooters. I didn't start getting good until I got a 360 and went on Xbox Live. But before then, man, I was that guy that would be running with my gun straight in the air doing 360s and getting shot in the face. That was me.
Rage quitting.
Oh, shit, Vanda's on our team.
Yeah, actually, that happened to me. We were playing Modern Warfare 2. And, they were doing their little team thing, and I remember I was doing so bad. My kill streak was, 3 and 14. That's how bad it was. And, I remember I got put on a team, and, these group of kids were like, oh, shit, he's on our team.
Yeah, that's the worst. Oh.
And
then,
listen here, kid.
At the end of the match where you can, look at everybody's scores and your kill-to-death ratio.
Yeah.
5 and 24. 5 and 24.
They message you and you're like, really? Really?
You ever, when I used to play with my buddies and we'd play online, we would always get, hate mail, people, recording, fuck you. And then you go to open it and it plays it for you, just a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, that's that whole keyboard crusader thing.
Yeah.
Internet.
Well, now they're calling SWAT teams to your house, so.
Yeah, right, so you better watch out.
In that case, I'm going to go get this game when it comes out. I'm going to get super good at it, and just see what the hell happens next.
Now, Travis, did you have anything going on with the news?
Well, first of all, I want to go back to Craig's original story that opened the show, saying that Nintendo is going to have a new console coming out. I would actually kind of not talk about that because what's going on here is Nintendo has said that the reports are not true and will not be showing off any new hardware at E3 this year.
Yeah, but I would agree with you, but that they're in the middle of making a new console. They've been talking about it. The Wii U is failing them, so they're trying to grab a hold of the handheld market, and I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, I don't think it would come out anytime in the next year or two, but they filed a patent for the console. So why would they do that? Why else would they?
Well, I know that after they release a new console, it was almost like the next day they're already researching possibilities for the next console to come out in 5 years and all that. And I'm not gonna, I'm not going to deny that, yeah, the Wii U has not done very well at all, although I still love the hell out of it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I still love this thing so much. I mean, I play this thing almost daily, if that tells you something. But I just thought I'd go ahead and just get that out of the way. And we were also talking about Call of Duty, and, well, here's what's going on with that. It looks like Neversoft is losing the name and it's merging with Infinity Ward. And citing an internal memo written by Activision Publishing CEO Eric Hirschberg, Giant Bomb reports that the Neversoft name will be retired as the Infinity Ward name is so closely tied to Activision's annual Call of Duty franchise. This makes Infinity Ward, according to the supposed memo, the sensible choice. So, the company that one of the developer of the classic Tony Hawk games is going bye-bye.
That's really sad. I mean, I liked what was it? Activision?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they kind of Activision was known to take theories and kind of run them in the ground, but I mean, they were still a good company.
Oh, they're a fantastic company.
Activision and EA are kind of like in that same sort of league.
Well,
really.
I wouldn't go that far. I think Activision's like the Diet Coke of the video game world.
But yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. And I'm trying to pull up a story right here because I heard about this the other day. Have you guys been following Sony with some of their financial trouble and people leaving Naughty Dog?
No, I didn't hear that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty bad. Trying to pull up the story right now.
You know, it's hard to make a buck with these games nowadays. I mean, if you really want to make a AAA title, you have to drop hundreds of millions of dollars into these games now.
Well,
with
that's
all the
norm
cinematics, and yeah, it's ridiculous. It's more expensive to make a video game than a fucking movie.
Yeah, the Last of Us lead artist Nat Wells has left Naughty Dog.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is probably, I can't remember all the names. I'm just looking at the news segment right now, but I'm having some Skype issues. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But no, like they've had a couple of people leave Naughty Dog, like about 3 in the last couple of months, and Sony as a company hasn't really been doing too well lately. I mean, their PlayStation division is going really, really well, but the actual electronics is not doing well at all. And I mean, some people, they don't really look at the whole big picture. They're like, oh, well, you know, PlayStation's doing fine. Well, you know,
that's just a small section of what they're like. They stopped making TVs, right? I think. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I think they stopped production on televisions. And what do they have? Stereos. They make stuff like that. Sound stuff. Other than that, they don't really do much, and they're a huge company. So
yeah,
they're just hemorrhaging money.
It's really, really unfortunate, man, because, I mean, as much as people are like fanboys and people root for one team, one console team, I mean, I want all the consoles to do well, because if all the consoles do well, we have competition, and it will keep the price of games at a reasonable value. Because, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people are like, man, it'd be awesome if, like, Xbox was the only console right now. If Xbox was the only console, they could pretty much price their games what they want because they have no competition.
There's no competition. But you see, that's where like companies like Nintendo don't have to worry as much because they don't have so much shrink like other avenues. They're just video games.
Exactly.
Or entertainment. Yeah.
Exactly. And Travis, you still there?
I'm here.
Okay, it was said that your call was dropped for a second there.
Yeah, it's this wonderful internet connection that I have, so got to deal with what I can.
Well, I mean, I don't really have any news per se. I mean, other than one thing. If you guys remember last episode, I was really, really pissed off at Nintendo. I was so pissed off that they were doing this Mario Kart bundle for the UK, and I was like, what the fuck, Nintendo? I mean, give us, you give the US and Americans some nice stuff. Well, that bundle I was talking about, they released it for America. Yeah. So for, I think it's $350. You can get the Wii U, you get Mario Kart 8, you get the Mario Remote Plus motion control, you get the of course the game. I think you get the strategy guide. I think the only thing that's missing is the hat. You don't get the hat. So
well, damn it, then I'm not going to get it.
But I mean, what do you guys think? Do you guys think this little bundle is going to help push the Wii U sales?
It's actually only $330.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like all the stuff that it's coming with. Kyla bought the Zelda one for $300, and the Zelda one is cool, but it also came with the game. But this comes with an actual game. I don't think it's DLC, is it? Or it's like
I think it's a physical copy.
Yeah, and it comes with the Wiimote and a steering wheel. And it's a good ass deal.
Yeah, and it's hot too. It's like that bright red overlay, right?
Yeah.
It looks cool. It looks really awesome. I wish that was coming out in the States.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it is? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's coming out to the States as well.
And if you buy this from GameStop, it says purchase Mario Kart 8 to receive a free game download from Club Nintendo. So you can either get New Super Mario Bros. U, Pikmin 3, Wind Waker HD, or Wii Party U.
And then resell it back to GameStop for $20.
No, that's a download.
Digital. It's
that's
digital.
Oh, digital?
I will say though that the one game that I might get is the Wii Party U.
I haven't even heard anything about that game.
See, that's what I love about like Wii. Well, the original Wii, like all the party and sports games were really fun. Like, especially if you like to like have a bunch of people at home, you know, playing on the same console instead of over the internet. Those little games like that are a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mainly wanted to get it because, you know, I want to have a physical copy of most of those games. I mean, I feel bad because I also got the Zelda Wii U, and I feel bad that my Wind Waker was a digital download.
Yeah, I agree. That was bullshit.
Yeah, and I wish it was a physical download. And all those games I want to get physical. Wii U Party or Party U or whatever, I can live with that being a digital. And if it's got online co-op,
you know, I got the Zelda 3DS. The one that with the
I got that one too. That
Link
one was
Between
awesome.
Worlds, but it came with the digital copy of it, which I thought it came with the a physical one. But that's okay, I guess. But I really wanted to. I almost went out and bought a physical copy just to have it. You know.
Now here's a question. How much memory did that take from your little SD card on your XL?
It took 900 blocks, which is probably like a gig and a half, maybe 2 gigs.
See, that's the only thing. That's the only thing I don't like about the digital releases on the 3DS. Is like, you know, it fills up so much of your SD card.
Right. Yeah.
Well, you know what? You could get like a 64 gig SD card for like $40. That's true. Know, I mean, you could, and then you could swap the cards out too. Yeah, you know what I mean. Instead of carrying around a bunch of games, you carry around two SD cards.
Yeah, and they're about the size of a DS game anyway.
Yeah,
that's interesting. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting the Wii U Party because if it's got online co-op, I can play online with some friends, and those games are just so goofy. Yeah, really, they're just ridiculous, and I would want to have Pikmin 3 or Mario U. I want to have a disc of that. So
right, yeah, good point.
Well, if you guys are into digital releases, PlayStation Network is coming back with the flash sale again for May.
Oh,
and, they got, I think there's 20 plus games, and they're all for like $5. All these games are $5. You get BioShock 2, Darksiders, Duke Nukem, GTA 4. There's a bunch of games. Canyon Lynch 2, L.A. Noire, all for $5.
See, I mean, I love that they're doing this because, like, if you're going to do digital, you might as well do it as a deal, kind of like how they do with Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
plus it prolongs the longevity of your PlayStation 3. Just kind of
exactly. And I think that's what they're doing too. I mean, because not everyone has a PlayStation 4, so that's good that they're still catering to last gen. Doesn't it feel weird saying PS3 is the last gen system?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. You know what? This generation lasted a long time, so
It did. It really did. And, you know, I know we were talking about the Wii U, and we were talking about, you know, we were like, man, it's too soon to be coming out with the new console. But isn't it hard to believe that the PS4 and Xbox One is almost a year old, and the Wii U is almost 2 years old?
Yeah.
Isn't that, just wrap your head around that? It's like, holy shit.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that and, like, the lack of games for the new system.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's, it. You know, Nintendo is like having a friend on drugs. You know, the reason why I say that is because, I mean, it's unfortunate and it sucks. Because, you know, you have that friend that you really care about, but they keep just doing dumb shit. And that's exactly what Nintendo's doing. I love Nintendo. They're one of my favorite companies. They're a childhood memory of mine, but they just keep fucking up. It's like, dude.
Man, their marketing is terrible. Now that they have an HD-capable system, they should be catering to third-party games as well.
Yeah, I mean, they got to get some of the publishers on board, too, though. That's the only thing. I mean, like EA, like some publishers like EA or Bethesda won't even touch them with a, 3-inch stick.
I don't even know why. Why? It's not like they're plagued or anything. Like Nintendo is a
no, they don't want to work with the hardware. They think the hardware is shit.
Which kind of makes me think of the Saturn. That was kind of the problem that I don't like to compare the whole Nintendo and Sega thing, because a lot of people are like, oh, Nintendo's just going to be another Sega. Well, what happened to Sega was something completely different than what happened with the Wii U. I think if Nintendo came out with a new console now, then that would be a Sega. That would be a Sega move right there, because what happened with the Saturn is they released it 3.5 months before they were supposed to, and it pissed off a lot of developers. They didn't get to learn how to actually use the system.
Right, yeah.
And it even pissed off KB Toys. KB Toys wouldn't even carry Sega Saturns.
Well, yeah. Well, they jumped the gun right after E3. They were like, yeah, it's available now.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing it because they had to compete with PlayStation. PlayStation, I believe, was over $100 cheaper than the Saturn. Yeah. And then you had the N64, and, back then Nintendo was the shit.com, and you had Nintendo slowly coming in like the perfect storm. So, I mean, they they had to do something, because the 32X and Sega CD wasn't cutting it.
No.
I read somewhere where they were developing the Sega Saturn, they wanted to make it like a 2D platformer badass machine. It wasn't really designed for 3D games.
It wasn't. Because the polygons they used were a different kind of polygon texture than what you get with the PlayStation. It was so much easier for people to program for Sony than it was for the Saturn. And yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that, because anyone that collects for the Saturn knows that the imports is the way to go. And a lot of the import games are 2D, and they're absolutely beautiful. A lot of the shooters and
all
fighters.
Those fighting games were way better on Sega Saturn.
Yeah, and plus I thought Sega Saturn had a really good controller as well.
It did have a great. There's actually 2 different controllers for the Sega Saturn.
Yeah.
The fight pad type one was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're the first ones that came out with that the thing that looked like Dreamcast controller that came out with Nights into Dreams.
Oh yeah, that was a fantastic controller.
Oh, the 3D one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's bad is I don't have Nights on the Saturn.
It's funny. I got Christmas Nights, and this is a really ultra rare game, I guess. Apparently, I remember I was in Blockbuster, and the cashier just gave it to me for free. That's when it came out. Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, it's bad. I mean, I got my Saturn as a Christmas gift from my drummer in my band. He gave me his old Saturn and gave me a handful of games, and I've wanted to go and get more Saturn games, but they're just so expensive right now.
They're so hard to find. When I was in high school, I don't know where I got a Saturn from, but I started playing it, and I just fell in love with it, and I just started buying so many Saturn games back then. I have like 50 or 60, I think, Saturn games, but it's because I bought them like I don't know, 10, 12 years ago when I was really into it. Nowadays, there's no way in hell I'd be able to have the same collection.
No.
They're always in shit shape. The cases are always broken.
And then when you really get into it, and like I was saying earlier about the imports are even more outrageous.
Yeah, they are. I actually don't have one import Sega Saturn game.
Yeah, I think
I fail at life.
the only import game that I have is Final Fantasy V for the Super Famicom. That's the only import game. And do you guys have any imports, Travis or Craig?
I don't have anything. Unfortunately, a lot of the stuff I have is American made. And I say that because I just feel that the games are just a hell of a lot better out of Japan.
Yeah, I got Dragon Ball GT for PlayStation.
Oh, oh man, I remember when that game, when it was import only, because it later on got a North American release.
Yeah, like 2001 or something.
Yeah,
like
but I remember when it was import, and you guys remember Funkoland, and you'd go in there and they'd give you that newspaper that would give you all the prices.
Yeah.
Final Bout, Dragon Ball GT was always like $330. It was always that game that was so freaking expensive. And I remember me and my friends used to fantasize playing it. We'd be like, if we could just mod our PlayStations, and we'd try to look on our little dial-up, internet, trying to find out how you mod a PlayStation. And we're just like, oh man.
All you got to do is hold down that little button that's inside of it.
Yeah, but 13-year-olds. Back then, I say back then because 13-year-olds now can freaking mod up a storm. But back then.
Uh-oh.
I actually do have one.
I was about ready.
No, I was just going to say I have one import game. That's it. I have Final Fight for the Super Famicom.
There's one thing I really like about some of the later Sony systems, like the PS3 and the PSP, is they're not region locked. You can actually import games that can play on the systems just fine. And when I had a PSP, I really wanted to import a copy of Paradius Collection because, for those of you who don't know what Paradius is, that's a Konami-made parody of the Gradius games, so space shoot-'em-ups. And
those are the best.
Oh God, those games were awesome. I played them on an emulator, and yes, I do play emulators. I do.
I think we went over this last week. Yeah, emulators.
I finally just I said, what, screw it, what the hell. But I actually did play Paradius, and I was like, oh my God, I so want this. And then I remembered I used to have a PSP, and I could have imported that game because it had I think it was all the Paradius games on one disc. And I was like, oh, dude.
Yeah, I don't understand region locks. What's the point?
It's so fucking stupid. I don't even know. There's only one PS3 region locked game, and it's Persona 4 Arena.
Now, is it because of taxes?
Well, one thing that I think they were saying about Persona 4 Arena, I believe Persona 4 Arena was weird where it came out in North America before it came out in Japan. So the reason that game is region locked is because they didn't want, I guess, people buying it for cheaper from America and importing it to Japan. Instead, they have to wait longer and they have to pay more money for it when it came out over there. But that's the only region locked PS3 game, and region locks are so stupid. They're so annoying, and even the 3DS is the first Nintendo handheld that's region locked.
Yeah, it makes no sense at all.
It's so annoying, and it's such a pain in the ass because if you think about it, you honestly, unless you have some third-party software, if I were to import a Sega Saturn game, it won't just play in a Sega Saturn, right? I'd have to have a Japanese Sega Saturn to play that game.
Or an Action Replay.
Yeah, or some third-party software thing. But that's the point. It's back whenever.
I think a Game Shark allowed you to play import games.
Yeah, Game Shark, something like some third-party piece of hardware or software. But yeah, something like that. It's you'd have before people had modded systems and knew how to do it themselves. They would have to pretty much have two different systems of the same thing to play all the games. Yeah,
I think the easiest mod is the Super Nintendo. So all you have to do is cut those little tabs out.
Oh, yeah.
And, even if you don't want to cut the tabs out, you could do it we can do a Game Genie. You need
Yep,
Game Genie.
yeah, or Game Shark. That's the only reason I bought one for the N64. The only reason I bought it for that is so you can play import games.
Yeah.
Good
Now,
reason to get it.
what were some import games that you played on N64? Because, I mean, N64 is one of those systems, and I think we'll get into it when we get into our subject. That was a system I didn't really get into too much.
Well, the only import game that I want to play that I haven't played any of them, but like the only one that I want is Sin and Punishment. And I don't have a Japanese N64, and I don't really care to ever have one. So when I saw the Game Shark, I was like, I'm going to pick it up. That way, if I do find Sin and Punishment, I can just play it right on my N64.
Well, here's the thing. Do you have a Wii?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what you can do is on the Wii Virtual Console, they actually have Sin and Punishment that you can download.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll have to do that.
Now, I know the Wii is supposed to be going offline this month.
Yep.
And
well, that's just the
online?
Yeah, just the online portion, like, you know, playing Mario Kart online, stuff like that. The Virtual Console is still going to be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wait, oh, yeah. Can you still, like, watch Netflix and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah, they're just taking down the online capabilities for you to play games online. That's what they're taking down.
Interesting. Because I really wish the Wii U would just transfer all the Virtual Console games from the Wii, because the Wii has such a huge library of Virtual Console games.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you have a Wii U, you're still fine. But I think with the Wii, they're not shutting down everything. It's just like the online gaming portion is what they're shutting down.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to go buy a Sin and Punishment, yeah, go ahead and go do so.
Yeah.
Play it with a GameCube controller.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I actually got the special Pro controller for the regular Wii. I actually like that controller better than I like the Xbox 360 controller. It feels better.
The thing I hate about the Wii in general are the gimmicks. I don't understand why they didn't give you a choice when you buy a Wii game to turn it on or turn it off. They're just annoying.
Yeah. Well, I thought, Craig, when you were talking about controllers, I thought you were going to talk about a controller I wish I could get, but it's like $80 because you have to order it from Japan. But it's the Hori Mini Pad for the N64.
That thing is awesome.
Oh, isn't it though? It looks like a little GameCube controller.
Yep. It's so cool.
I'd love to get one, but like I said, I mean, if you order them online, it's very seldom you see them any lower than $60.
Yeah, no, they're expensive. And one thing I used to use a lot, I don't know, I almost never buy third-party shit because the controllers are normally just garbage. But when I was playing my N64 a lot, I had this third-party one, and the stick never got loose. Like, it didn't have the same problems. It was always tight, and it was awesome. The only problem was the controller, like the connector, was messed up, and if you played for like 10 minutes, it would short the whole system out. So that was obviously crap. But this stick was great. So those controllers are really good.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of third-party N64 controllers. I think Mad Catz put out one that was like really, really cool. It didn't have the normal like tri.
Yeah, that's the one.
Shape, you know, the
looks
three
like
prongs. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
That was really cool. That's the only thing I didn't like about N64. I didn't like the fact that those joysticks would get so wiggly. And didn't you guys ever feel bad when you went to like kiosks? Those N64 controllers with the limp joystick and the powder everywhere.
Yeah.
It looked like it had a really bad night at Vegas, you know.
And that hole in the middle of your hand for playing Mario Party.
For the room.
Oh man, I remember like when they came out with the first Mario Party, they had that mini game that was like a boat game.
Yeah.
You had to sit there and rotate your joystick, and people were breaking their joysticks. So Nintendo actually would repair their controllers, and they actually would send you these little special gloves to wear, so you wouldn't hurt your hand.
You know, everybody who played Mario Party had like a little red hole in their hand.
I'm pretty sure those gloves are probably somewhere on eBay, and some resellers, you know, charging a dick load of price for them.
Oh, absolutely. If they're official Nintendo, yeah.
These are official Nintendo player gloves. They're $800.
It makes you better. Makes you better at James Bond.
I'm so, like, when I play the N64, I'm so, like, anal about the stick. I don't want to use it too much or hit it too hard because I found, you know, what's weird, I was going to buy a bunch of replacement thumbsticks, but they're actually kind of expensive for my N64 controllers. And I went to a thrift store one day, and there was no shit a bag of replacement N64 thumbsticks. Like, why the hell would that ever be there? So anyway, I bought it. I was like, hell, this is awesome, and I fixed like all of my sticks. I don't remember where I'm going with this, but yeah.
You just bought a bunch of bag of sticks.
Yeah, but to me it was so random that would ever be in a thrift store. First of all, who the hell is buying a shitload of sticks? It's got to be very like a small demographic of people who are still buying these.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's probably someone like. Do you guys watch Luke Morris?
No.
The YouTuber?
No.
Oh man, okay. When you guys get a chance, look up Luke Morris 01. That's his channel, and he's an American that lives in Japan. And what he does for the last like 5 years, he goes to this department store called Hard Off. And it's pretty much, I know people are giggling, but no, it's a recyclable electronics store, and what he does is he'll go in there and he'll buy retro systems and like even arcade units dirt cheap because it's in Japan, so he's buying it really cheap anyway. But most of them are broken, and he'll take them back to his house and he'll clean them up, fix them, and like he'll either resell them or trade them with people on YouTube or something like that. But his videos, like I said, they're a lot of fun. They'll make you very, very jealous. I mean, 'cause he'll go in there. I remember he went in there and he was looking in the junk pile, and he was like, "Oh, look, a PlayStation 1." And he said how much yen it was that like translated to like $10. Like, oh, it's only $10. I'll buy it. It's like he found a freaking Famicom disk system for less than $20. I was like, oh. Yeah. I was just like, holy crap.
You know what? And here in the States, like I think because people go on eBay and stuff, and they look at like some of the prices of retro games or older games, and they see these outrageous prices. And they think that they could charge like $30-$40 for just like an NES game, you know what I mean? And then, like you go into like these stores, and they overprice the shit out of these games. And I saw that today when I was out, and it's like, oh, I see these like old sports games, and they want like $14-$15, and I'm like,
yeah,
like.
Now, before we go into our break and head to the topic, I did want to bring up something that I saw on a Facebook group page, and this made me think of you, Zach, because they were talking about dumpster diving.
Oh yeah.
It seems that GameStop is starting to notice a lot of people are doing dumpster diving, and they said a lot of it was because of OKG420. Which OKG420, I've talked to him personally on Skype. He's an awesome guy, super, super nice. But these people were like kind of pissed off that this guy made something like this so popular that GameStop now they're taking upon themselves to destroy the products more. And what do you guys think about this? Because honestly,
that's stupid. If you're throwing it out, might as well just give it away.
Yeah, I mean,
if somebody else wants it, why throw it out?
Yeah, and I mean, like, I understand the companies are like, you got to destroy it and stuff like that, and they, of course, they're doing it more now because they said that people that do dumpster diving, they could hurt themselves and sue GameStop. Yeah. But like the thing is like the main thing that really pissed me off was the animosity and the hatred that the people had towards a YouTuber that made something popular, and it kind of makes me think of like music and bands when people say like a band sold out because they got big. It's like, he didn't go out and do dumpster diving because he was like, I'm going to become a YouTube celebrity. He did it because he enjoys it, and he saw like, hey, I'm getting free shit,
Right.
And it goes to the whole retro community in the sense that what we're doing is bringing attention to a hobby, and people can't get too pissed off about it because we're letting outsiders know now that retro gaming's in, and everyone's getting into it, and I'm down for it because the more people that get into it, after a while that bubble's going to pop.
Yeah.
It's not going to...
Well, here's the thing about dumpster diving, and the problem with dumpster diving is that people in general are fucking assholes, and they make a huge mess, they make a whole lot of noise, they leave it completely trashed, And, and that's why a lot of times people are pissed off. I'm always picking through the garbage over there. People walk by, or at GameStop, and I'm always picking through the dumpsters. And, people walk by and no one cares. I did it there was the cop directing traffic, and I'm my legs up in the air, my head inside the dumpster. No one gave a shit because I was being respectful about it. And the one thing I love about dumpster diving, and it's the reason I love it isn't because, I found games, which is cool. I found like Modern Warfare 3 that was thrown out. I found Fable 3. I found all kinds of shit that was just thrown out. But my favorite thing about dumpster diving is you're getting the stuff that you can't buy. You're getting these cool displays. You're getting these promotional things that are so cool. Yeah. Oh my God! I have so many stacks of DS cases. If anyone ever needs them, send me emails. I have so many, and I have. If you go to Getting Your Nerd On's page, I have 2 videos up called Getting Your Dumpster On, where all the stuff that I find, and pretty much I just try to give all of it away to whoever actually needs it.
Yeah, it was a good thing that you brought up, like those cardboard cutouts of promotional stuff. Like, those things are awesome to display in your game room.
They're so cool.
Like, the only way to get them is to, like, dumpster dive. All right, sorry.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I went into a GameStop, like, last month, and they had that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze standee. It's not that big. It's, like, the size of a box of wine or whatever. And I asked the guy, I was like, this... Because OK Chief had just put a video up about him asking somebody, like a Toys R Us, if he could have it, and they're like, yeah, it's like a month old, just take it. So I went in and I was like, hey, like, what are you doing with this? Can I have it? And the guy straight up lied to me, and he was like, we have to ask the distributor, they might want it back. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll pick it out of your garbage later. I really don't care. You can just give it to me instead of being an asshole. But so, like, a couple of things off the top of my head. I found kind of this Mario in a cat suit. It's cardboard, and it was the promotional thing. It's like stuck to a wall. It's like almost like 3D. It's really cool. I also found this Tomb Raider definitive edition. Like, it's like a giant rectangle advertisement, and it just looks so cool. And I myself found that 3DS cardboard promotional display. It was super cool. They're just throwing this shit away. Why wouldn't people want this? But the problem that you get with, like I said, they're probably treating it like shit. They're leaving it, the dumpster, all kinds of trash thrown all over the place, and that's why people get pissed off.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, like I said, the people that complain about it, they have to understand that it's popular. It's like getting mad at Jimi Hendrix because everyone wanted to play electric guitar after seeing him play. You know. Like,
I used to dumpster dive like years ago, and then I stopped because I don't know why I stopped, but I started dumpster diving way before I ever even heard of OK Chief, and then when I got back into it, it's because of some other people who I found, and then through them I found OK Chief. So he spread it, but it's definitely coming from all different places. He's probably like the tip of the spear, like leading this, but there's people all over doing it.
Yeah, and he's definitely not a reseller. If you watch his channel, he's got shit everywhere, man. He enjoys collecting. And
OK Chief is genius because if you think about it, he has, compared to someone like, say, GameStar 81, OK Chief has like 1/4 of the amount of subs. But he gets so much love from everyone. Every other day he has a mail thing that someone is sending him just because they love him and they think he's that awesome. And he is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to belittle anything he does. I think he's awesome. But it's just crazy to me when I see that these people who are so much bigger on YouTube, so much more, they've been around a little longer, they have more subs, and OK Chief is getting so much more fan mail and love and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. He's a genius.
Yeah, like I said, I've talked to him on Skype. He is just as humble as he is on his videos, and he started out making videos around the same time I did, about 2 years ago, and yeah, he's gotten way up there, but he's just as humble as he was when he had. I remember when he had just hit like 500 subscribers.
Oh no shit, huh?
I found his channel. You guys watch Ed's channel? It's like Ed 1138.
No.
Well, he used to have this thing called Top 3 Tuesday, where every week, every Tuesday, he'd come up with a subject, and people would make response videos and send them to him, and then he'd play the response videos on his channel. It would do, totally debunked response videos. So Top 3 Tuesday isn't around anymore. He tried to bring it back, but I think it was too much of a headache for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I found a lot of channels, was through the Top 3 Tuesday, and I wish it was still around because, everyone benefited from that. It was a way for the community to get to know everyone and help get exposure to your channel if you're a new guy. It was a great system that he had going on.
I agree.
Really
Awesome.
They really need to bring back response videos.
Yeah, I have no idea why they got rid of that. That was...
It was a way for you to...
People weren't using them.
Yeah, but it was a way for you to communicate with YouTubers, you know what I mean? To get closer to the community, but I guess whatever. For whatever reason.
It is a hassle now. You have to make the video, then send an email or whatever, instead of just being able to video response it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to tag shit.
Yeah.
It's a headache. We're going to step away for a short break, and just to let our listeners know, you guys can call in. Our phone number is going to be 718-664-9265. If you guys don't want to call us, you can actually call us Skype, and free call with Skype. So just hit that Skype button on the listening ad that you guys are looking at, and you guys can get with us. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about getting into retro games after you start collecting, like retro systems that you never got to play as a kid that you get to play now with all that extra income and reliving your childhood. So we'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. Once I find the commercial. All right, guys, we are back, and that was the Zelda commercial right there for all you Hyrule historian fans. And tonight's topic, is we're going to be talking about a very broad subject. We're going to be talking about getting into games like retro games or systems, getting back into some that we might have forgotten that now we know about since we started collecting. And I think I'm just going to go around our little I Got Gameplay circle right now, and I'll start with you, Travis. What's a system or game that you've gotten into since you started collecting?
See, that's a hard one to answer because all my life I've been gaming. So, I mean, I've played everything from the Atari 2600 up into the PS3 and Wii U. So I've always been around games, and I guess I've always been collecting them. So, I guess I'll tell you one system I really want to collect for, and that would have to be, and this is going to seem kind of strange, I really want to get some more Sega CD games and 32X games.
And it's not weird at all, because I tell you what, man, the Sega CD has such a bad rap from the Angry Video Game Nerd. Not dissing an Angry Video Game Nerd because he's the nerd, but he made that one video, totally smashing the Sega CD, and mostly talking about the FMV games, which I kind of like the FMV games. But
I miss FMV games. I wish they would come back.
They had such a little charm to them, but actually the Sega CD has some really good games. I'm looking at my collection right now, like games like Slipfeed or Soulfeed, freaking Lords of Thunder, the Lunar games, Batman Returns. Yeah, Snatcher. I mean,
Snatcher.
Yeah, it's got so many great games are on the Sega CD. Stellar Fire that people don't know because when they think of Sega CD, they think of Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
I want to play that.
MTV Music Maker,
Crisscross. All that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. What about you, Zach?
The biggest thing for me is when I was younger, I had a PlayStation, and pretty much is getting into Nintendo 64. I'm like Travis, I've been playing games, and even my whole life, and even when I was younger, I was actually pretty much a collector. I was always out, getting games together and getting everything that I wanted from tag sales and stuff. But Nintendo 64 is really something I missed out on because I had a PlayStation 1. So when people say have all this nostalgia for like Mario 64, I don't actually have that because I didn't play it back then. But yeah, definitely N64 and the library that's on it. I mean, that's something that I didn't have until way after it came out.
What about you, Mr. Craig?
Well, I'd like to collect a little bit for the Sega Saturn. I had one when it came out, but I didn't really get too many games for it because I quickly got a PlayStation after that. But yeah, it seems like there's so many cool games for it. And I remember just because I was a big Sega fan, and I had like a Sega Genesis and all that cool shit. So I mean, I've been collecting a lot of like Super Nintendo games and Sega Genesis and PlayStation. So I need to venture out and get something different.
Yeah, for me, I'm a lot like you guys. I never really got rid of my systems. I've always, held on to a handful of games, and it's accumulated over the years. But, honestly, I can say that because of the YouTube gaming community, there's some games that's kind of slipped through the cracks that I never knew about. A great example would be, Johnny Millennium with his love for the Ys series. I didn't know anything about Ys until I started watching his channel, and I think that goes with a lot of people. Because I never had a Sega Master System, and I've never had a TurboGrafx, and so I didn't know about it. And I've been watching his channel now for about 3 years, and after watching his channel, I was like, oh man, I need to get into the Sega Master System. And I still don't have a Master System. I have an emulation disc for my Dreamcast. Woo! That's got like 1,000 Sega Master System games. It even has bootlegs from Brazil on it. And it's an excellent disc, and I can play the original Phantasy Star. I can play Ys Books 1 and 2, and it's really cool, and it's really surprising. And Pete Dorr, another YouTuber that I watch, and he would always talk about RPGs, and you guys can definitely agree that PS2 had so many RPGs that it was almost impossible to track them all down. And this guy would play them all and just about complete them. So he'd be like,
"That's crazy."
He'd be like, "Hey guys, I just finished, just playing this blah 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 obscure RPG, and I never knew about it." So, I would get into stuff like that, and a system I would love to collect for that I didn't know about when I was a kid would be the TurboGrafx.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah, TurboGrafx
was a good
is pretty
system.
cool. I got a lot of emulators for it, but it's not the same when you. I mean, granted, like I said before, like playing emulators is a great way to experience the games if you never played them, or like a game that you never heard about and maybe want to play. But like playing on original hardware is a completely different experience.
Oh, I mean, that goes into the whole collecting aspect. We all
Yeah.
love having that physical copy, and there's just something kind of therapeutic when you buy a new retro system, and like, oh man, I got to make room for my shelf. Oh, I need to figure out how I'm going to put this here. And,
Yeah.
and you put it there, and you look at, like I got two different shelves in my room, and I'll look and I'll see like 6 systems on a shelf, and I'm just like, man, if I get one more system, this is going to be a headache, but I cannot wait. It's like playing Tetris. Tetris is fun, but it's irritating as hell, know? So, I mean, that's just something that I also would love to have an actual Neo Geo, too.
Oh, yeah. They were always expensive. They were always really, really, really expensive. I remember reading in GamePro back in, like, 95, and they're like, it was like Samurai Showdown, like $299 or something stupid.
Yeah, they're crazy expensive.
They were like the Rolls Royce of home consoles.
Yeah. Well, I found that Neo Geo at Savers a couple months back, and we did a video about it and everything. And that was just one of the most random finds I've ever had. I walked into a Savers, and there's a fucking Neo Geo sitting there. I was like, okay.
How much did you get it for?
It was $50, but
oh man,
and it was an American one. It's an American console. It's a North American console, and it was just the console though. It was $50, so I had to track down controllers, and I made the AV cable for it, and then I had to buy the power supply. But still, I mean, I still don't even have any games. They're just so fucking expensive, It's like, it's just so crazy.
What's actually what you could do? Zach, that's a little cheaper. Is I believe there's a little add-on that you can put in the cartridge that you can actually buy the MVS, the arcade cards.
Yeah.
The arcade cards.
The converter piece though is like $200.
Oh really?
Because like you can't play an MVS game in an AES home console. They don't fit.
Yeah.
But there's some brand that some guys just had a Kickstarter a little while ago, and they made that the intermediary piece between the what is it called, the arcade, what is that called?
The MVS.
Yeah, the MVS. They made the conversion piece between the MVS cart and the console, which is nice because there's like a multi-cart for that that's like 161 Neo Geo games in one or whatever. So that'd be kind of, I know that's still not playing the actual thing, but at least you have the hardware and you have something. That's better, in my opinion, than emulating.
Yeah,
I mean, for something I don't really see the point in paying all like a couple $100 for one game when you can easily emulate it. And
but
if you got a joystick set up like that. Yeah.
It's just so hard to pay that much money when there are compilations that are out there. And another thing is, it's not like an expensive Neo Geo game isn't like an expensive Super Nintendo game, because in my opinion, there's always a good chance that you could run into an expensive Super Nintendo game at a tag sale. The odds that you're going to run into a Neo Geo game at a tag sale are probably slim to none.
Yeah,
oh, yeah, definitely. You got to. So
you're going to be paying a high price. Yeah.
I'll buy that at a high price.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and also what you got to look into with the MVS carts is there's so many bootlegs out there.
Oh yeah.
there's a lot of bootleg NVS carts. So I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some YouTube channels. Somebody named like Neo Geo Pro Fan 600. Guy, some guy that's out there that specializes in the Neo Geo is like, this is how you find a bootleg.
It's not channel opportunity for someone out there.
Exactly. That would I'd sub to him. Shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's incredible how much we've been gaming all of our lives, but it's impossible to play every single game that's out there.
I know.
And that's one thing I do love about the YouTube community is finding out, like you taking an example like you, Travis, you played Sewer Shark. You did a Let's Play of Sewer Shark. Someone probably didn't know about Sewer Shark, looked it up, and was like, you know what? That game actually looks kind of cheesy. I like this game.
Yeah.
And, they could be like, I didn't know about this game until I, watched, rose-colored reviews. So, I mean, like, that's what the community is all about, is knowledge and sharing it, in my opinion.
Yeah. We put out a 2 Pro Noobs every week, which is like a Let's Play video, and we get comments all the time. It's like, holy shit, I never even knew about this game. It's good. I'm going to keep my eyes open. We say if it's good or bad. I mean, people can probably tell anyway. We played Cyborg Justice the other day. We started off and we were like, oh, we love this game, and at the end I was like, I fucking hate this game. But it is a good game. I was getting pent up from things that pissed me off in that game. But yeah, so yeah, we get those stuff all the time where people are like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely start looking for this. If I see it, I'm gonna pick it up.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are listening and you guys have a retro system or a game that you found a new profound love for, you guys can call us at 718-664-9265. That's 718-664-9265. Or you can hit us up with the Skype button, and that's a free call, and you guys can call us up and tell us, what retro systems or games that you got into. So as we continue, what was a game that you guys always wanted to play, but you guys never got to until you became collectors and you were actually able to afford some of the games?
I think
Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger would be one game that I got. I mean, it was always an expensive game. And think about like Super Nintendo games, especially like RPGs and big games like that. They were always a lot more money back then. They were always like $80, $90.
Oh yeah.
I have a Nintendo Power magazine that says when Secret of Mana came out, it was $130.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they would come with like guides and stuff like that. That's why. Yeah. I mean, but. Or either that, or I don't know. It was something to do with the cartridges were different.
Yeah, well, the amount of like memory and like EEPROM chips and stuff that were in there were more, and the cart in the game would literally cost more to make physically than
8 mega power.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember seeing ads for the original Dragon Warrior 2 or 3, and yeah, that was like $85 for the Nintendo.
Oh yeah, they were expensive. And like the thing about back then, there was no cap. We were talking about now about people maybe being able to control the market. $60 is steep in my opinion for a lot of games that come out, but at least there's a cap. At least there's a bar where it doesn't go any higher than that, unless you want like limited editions or any of that bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah. That's. Again, and that goes with competition. There's competition, so they have to keep it at some sort of price,
Oh yeah.
Because if Xbox One were selling their games for $80, where PlayStation was selling theirs for $60, everyone's gonna be like, well, fuck that. I'm gonna go and get a PlayStation 4.
Yeah, right.
So that's the only thing I'm worried about with the whole digital thing is I think once it starts going digital, I think they'll, they could still charge what they want at that point, and that kind of scares me that they might charge $60 for a game that you can download.
Yeah. Well, then if it gets to that point, it's just they're making so much more money because they don't have to ship anything, make anything physically, and they're saving off that, but you're not getting any of the savings from it.
But they don't have to worry about used sales either, and you'll never get a deal like a used sale deal, or
but you might not get a used sale there. But for example, you said like PlayStation is starting that whole bundle type thing of like really low prices. So it's gonna start happening, and they might not be used, but they will definitely be sales on stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wouldn't mind, because I love those flash sales. I'm always envious when people talk about Steam and they're like, hey, I got like my buddy of mine just got a new PC and he's like, yeah, I just bought 40 Steam games for $20. I'm just like, son of a bitch,
Yeah.
Of course you can't put them on a shelf and you can't look at them and enjoy them, but it's still games. They're
still games.
Absolutely.
It's kind of cool when you turn on your console and you go into like your game section, your game folder, and there's all these games on there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's cool. Like I was talking to my buddy when I went out to PAX, my buddy Tom, and he asked me, he's like, has it gotten to the point where you and Kyla don't even play games anymore? You just collect them? And I told him, I was like, we do buy a lot of games, but I sure as fucking hell try to play as many of them as I can. So
try.
I try. And, I've gotten to the point where it's like if I start playing a game and it's just shit, it's like, all right, it just goes back on the shelf. I'm not wasting my time with it. There's just so many
you go on to
games.
something you want to play.
Yeah.
I'll limit myself sometimes. I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to buy another video game until I beat 3. I'll do stuff like that.
There's always that one game that you always go back to. You play at least once a year.
Yeah, mine was Final Fantasy IX for a long time.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy Tactics for me.
Oh, that was a good game.
The problem, though, with, like, limiting, I know you're saying, like, maybe I'll beat 3 games and buy another one. The problem with that for, like, me and Kyla is we don't buy things necessarily new. We buy them, if we find them at a thrift store. So it wouldn't be very possible to be like, oh, I'll pick this up once I beat a couple games. It'll already be gone. Someone else will have already bought it. So.
Oh, yeah, that's a totally different story.
Yeah.
When I mean, who's going to go to the thrift store and they see a copy of Earthbound for $10 and they're like, you know what? I haven't beaten 3 games. I'm not buying this fucking shit.
I'll come back when I've beaten them.
You just stay there, sir.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, right.
That's not going to happen.
When you find something like that, you got to jump on it.
Oh, yeah.
No, here's a good question. Have you guys ever seen something in the thrift store that you guys were like, or thrift store, flea market, anywhere, like a secondhand shop, you guys saw it and you were like, man, I really want this, but for some reason you walked out and you came back and it was gone?
Oh,
yeah. I
rough.
talked about it in one of our complete gaming episodes. I talked about how I went to a Goodwill and there was like 4 Super Nintendo games and they were $2.99 a piece, and there was Super Star Wars, UN Squadron, Donkey Kong Country 2, and then some other shit game or whatever. And the only one I bought was Super Star Wars. And we, everyone had Donkey Kong Country 2, who I was hanging out with, and that game at that point I think was only selling for like $10. I was like, whoever needs it next can just have it. But UN Squadron was there, and I remember people talking about that game, and when I got home I Googled it, and I was like, shit, that was the game I wanted, and I went back and it was gone.
Yeah.
Funny, I saw that game today actually. I was on Free Comic Day. There's a retro store called Game Giant.
Yeah.
And I went in there and they had a copy of UN Squadron, and I was like, I've been wanting that game.
How much was it?
It was $14.99.
That's more. Yeah, that's what it's going for these days.
Decent.
But I ended up getting a lot. I bought like 5 games for $25, and one of the games in it was UN Squadron off eBay. So
such a good game.
Yeah,
thrift stores are the best, man. One time I walked into the thrift store just for the hell of it. I was like, fuck it, let me just see what they got. And I see a packaged copy of Super Mario RPG, and it's $2.99.
That is awesome.
I was like, yoink.
I got mine from Craigslist for $12, but $2.99 is a whole hell of a lot better.
Oh my God! I see. Like you get that game for like $50-$60 on like Amazon. Or, probably more, right?
Fleet's over 100.
Wow.
Like when I got another reference to one of our pickups, we got this nice Super Nintendo lot, and everything in it was complete in like boxed. And one of the games in there, one of the games in there was Kirby's Adventure 3 for Super Nintendo. And all the games, I paid the guy, I don't even remember how much I paid for everything, but every game came out to like $12 a piece. And I looked that game up like after that randomly, and that game sells for like $200. It's fucking ridiculous.
That's a really uncommon game.
Yeah, it's the last official Nintendo released game or licensed game for Super Nintendo. I think the last game they put out.
What about you, Travis? Have you ever gambled and lost with retro games?
Jeez, trying to think about the last time I had an experience like that. Would be searching on eBay being
Oh yeah, that would work too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
like timed out. Fuck.
I know, right? But no, actually, this happened recently. I was just looking at Super Nintendo games. One of them they were doing a lot. You know, like there's like about 15 games in there, and there was like like about 10 minutes left on the sale. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I looked at the games, and then I saw a couple of them I was really coveting, and I was like, oh shit, yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna refresh it real quick just to see where it's standing. And then it jumped to $100. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, that sucks. Think about eBay. You got to compete with like all these other people trying to buy the same thing.
Yeah, and they get crazy. Those are the people who are just shut up and take my money people.
Yeah,
I remember one of my favorite games is Secret of Evermore, and that game gets overlooked so much because of Secret of Mana. And in my opinion, I like it even more. It's just
it's a better game.
I think so. I love it, and I just love the idea. Like, it's dark, and it's, I don't know, I just think it's awesome. And recently that game sold complete for like $150 or something.
Wow.
Well, I hate to interrupt this, but I just got some breaking news from Alpha Omega Sin. On the Pittsburgh Craigslist right now, for the first time ever, you can trade in your PS4 for a puppy.
Huh.
So, I mean, if you guys are in the Pittsburgh area and you guys have a PS4 and you're like, you know what? I really need
a dog.
I want a best friend. Trade in your PS4 for a puppy. It's a cute puppy too. That is, oh man, that is hilarious. That's
a good deal. That's a good deal. I mean, dogs are, you know.
Well, never mind. It's the post is in flight for removal.
I thought you were gonna be like trading your PS4 for a new baby or something.
Oh God. Oh man. It's like PS4, film a porno and sell the child.
Yep.
But yeah, oh my God. But yeah, back to the subject. I saw that on Facebook. I had to share that. But yeah, I've seen a lot of games I've passed up, and you know, for some reason I remember I saw a complete Brave Fencer Musashi for, I think it was like $20 at a flea market, and I was going to get it, but my buddy I was hunting with, he wanted to get it, and I was just like, well, if he's going to get it, I'm not going to get it, you know, and so I was going to leave it to him, and for some reason he ended up not getting it, and by the time I found out he wasn't getting it, we were already leaving, and I didn't feel like turning around and going back in there. But yeah, I've had things like that happen before too. It's just, I always say that if you find a game and you feel in your gut that you have to have it, just go ahead and get it. Bite the bullet and buy it, because, you know, with the retro collecting the way it is now, you might not see it again for months, even years, you know, at an affordable price.
It's true. I remember like 2 years ago I was going to buy Evo for the Super Nintendo, and there was a copy on Amazon, and I think at that time it was going for like $60. And there was a copy on Amazon with a manual, and I didn't pull the trigger on it. And the next day I was like, you know what, fuck, I'm going to buy it. And it was already gone. And I swear to God, it was like the next day that game jumped up to $150 because I could never find it again. Like, I don't know what the hell. It was just that day, it was like the tipping point. The next day it just doubled in price. I got fucked.
Yeah, and the prices fluctuate like crazy. I mean, we were talking about last episode with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, you know, how ridiculous that price is now for such a horrible game.
Yeah, just because the angry video game nerd played it on a video, you know.
Yeah, it's popular now. Everyone wants it, just like everyone wants Little Samson. You know, if you were to ask someone, you know, 4 years ago, hey, you know about Little Samson? They'd be like, Little who?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a hidden one.
Yeah. And actually, I hear that it's actually a good game too.
Oh yeah, I hear it's a fantastic game. One of the things also when I was younger, a game that I didn't have as a kid, I remember seeing it all the time, was Earthbound, and even my mom, she was like, I thought you had that game. I never had it, but I got into it around like 2000, and I remember buying it from half.com, maybe 2002 or 2001, and there was like 50 copies on there for like $20. And I remember I bought a copy, and I loved it so much, I lent it to my buddy, and I went into the military. And when I got out of the military, I asked my buddy, I was like, hey, let me get that copy of Earthbound back. Like, I really want to play it. And he's like, I have no clue what the fuck happened to that game. And
I remember you telling us that story. That sucks.
But then, when I was into it, that game was like $20. Then, like, if you were to look at it now, people would be like, oh, shit, I wouldn't have ever lent that out. But at that time, it wasn't really going for anything. So anyway, my buddy, he was saying, I don't know where the hell it is. And I was like, well, I guess I'm, and then because I knew what he was going for at that point. So I was like, I guess I'm never going to see it again. Anyway, I was at work, like, the next month, and my buddy comes over, and he's like, hey, man, there's a Super Nintendo lot on Craigslist for $60. He's like, do you want to split it half and half? He's like, I only want a couple of games. You can have all the rest. I was like, yeah, sure. So I gave him $30, and lo and behold, Earthbound was in there. So I was like, hell yeah. That's the only reason I have that game again, is because of that Craigslist thing.
I'd still love to own Earthbound. It's such a unique game. I think everyone, even more so if you're into RPGs, I think everyone should at least play it once.
Oh, I agree. It's a great game. It was when I played Earthbound, it was my favorite game, and then after that, I played Final Fantasy VI, and 6 is just better than Earthbound. I know, like, Earthbound, the thing a lot of people love is like the quirkiness and how it's different, and I do love that. And I think it's a fantastic game, and I have a lot of Earthbound shit because I was really into Earthbound, but it's not superior to Final Fantasy VI in my opinion.
No way. It's not, better. But like, like you said, Earthbound is just so unique because it's like modern day games weren't like that back then. It was all fantasy, especially RPGs and stuff. So it was like a different take and completely unique compared to any other games on the Super Nintendo at the time.
The only thing I didn't like about Earthbound was honestly the battle system.
See, I didn't have a problem with it.
I mean, it was like not so much the system as much as the just the way the look.
The lack of anything. It's just you don't even see your own characters.
It was basic. Yeah. It was
The only thing that has always pissed me off about games, and still to this day has not been fixed in some games, is the idea of a backpack and it getting full. One thing I love about Final Fantasy, you could have a million fucking things and you can carry all of them. Then I remember playing Super Mario RPG, and it gets full relatively quickly. And I just recently beat Super Paper Mario, and you can't even hold 10 things in your backpack or wherever the hell it's supposed to be. It is the most annoying thing. And one thing, if anyone who develops games ever listens to this, why is it that if I'm playing like Super Paper Mario and my backpack is full and I have to throw something out, why don't I get the choice to use it? Why do I just have to fucking throw it away? That's such bullshit. This is NES shit.
I know. And you know what? I like to collect stuff in games. I like to have everything.
Yeah. Like, you should play Fallout, because if you collect too much shit, you walk slow as hell.
I was just going to say my house in Fallout, my Skyrim. Skyrim's really bad. Yeah. I collected every book, every fucking spell. I have like a locker full of just weapons. I just collect everything and just throw them in there.
Did you guys ever see the video of Skyrim where someone collected a bunch of cheese
blocks and they let it down the mountain?
That was awesome. Someone did it with cabbage too, and I was just like, man, that's funny.
That is funny. I agree.
I freaking loved Skyrim. I still think the whole shouting at a goat and seeing them flying off the mountain, I think that really helped give the popularity to Goat Simulator.
Oh my God, Goat Sim is amazing.
Hey, yeah, I played it not too long ago.
It's so good
to play that. I'm sorry, it's retarded.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's amazing.
Yeah, it's so buggy.
Hold on. You're calling Goat Simulator, which is one of the coolest original games ever. It's something very negative, right? That's what you're saying.
Not negative. No, it's just not for me.
Betrayal! Betrayal! Betrayed me!
Yo, I couldn't have said it better.
Oh man, but yeah, I played it. Did you ever get to unlock the other kinds of goats, Zach? Like the
only thing Kylo was playing and I was watching her. My buddy actually owns it. Kylo was playing it when we were at PAX. I don't think she unlocked any goats, but she did. She became the demonic goat. Like there's a pentagram where you can like drag dead bodies to, and it like makes you a demonic goat. And she also became a king. She like found a castle and like went in there and she became a king and was like a demonic goat. It's just amazing.
That was you can unlock a giraffe and an ostrich.
Oh no! Oh, was that? Did that go up with the newer patches?
I'm not sure. I know my friend bought it, so it's probably in the full version.
No, I know, but like with the newer patches, they've been like releasing more shit into it.
Oh,
so
really?
Like when we played it, it was at PAX. So if there's been a patch like since then that's done that, we haven't played it.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I agree with Travis. It's such a weird, quirky, original idea.
Oh, it's amazing.
But it didn't start out as a game. It was actually developers. They were testing out some new physics, and they just used a goat.
Oh, nice.
As the test subject, and they had so much fun with it. They're like, you know what? Let's just release this. You know.
Well, it's funny that they released it because that game is still unpolished as fuck. Like that game, it doesn't like have problems like glitches that I've noticed, but it's just like, you know, if you put on the jetpack and you spin in a circle, like the animation of the jetpack like goes through the ground. So I don't know. It's just so funny but I think that makes it funnier. It's like if you guys ever watch a Ninja Sex Party video and they use the dummies. And the dummies look so shitty, but it's so funny because the way that they did it, it's pretty much that's the way I compare it to.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, go to them, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, that's a really fun game. I wish my laptop could play it. My laptop's like so ancient, so even on the lowest settings, it would probably just make a whole system crash.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't play PC games for shit. My computer sucks too.
And I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much console and PC gamer animosity. Is, you know, people that like us that grew up playing console games. It's so much of a different world going into PC, and it's so like to me personally, it's almost overwhelming. You know,
yeah.
I'm so
you got so many more options on the PC, and there's a lot more games, and now that all the console games are all the same, they're all on the PC too now. So
yeah, I mean, I just remember the hardest thing about starting a console game was, you know, with the Nintendo blowing into the card and wiggling it inside the console. You know, I didn't have to worry about a graphics card. I didn't have to worry about specifications to play a game, you know.
Got to update my RAM.
Yeah. And I think that's the only thing that's kind of intimidating to console gamers to PC. And, you know, the thing about PC gaming, and I don't knock it, because I mean I'm a console gamer, but I know a lot of people that play PC games, and a lot of people say it's very, very expensive. But the thing is, it's like it's about as much money as you want to put into it.
It's kind of like a drug too, man. Because once you start, like, you're like, all right, I got a new graphics card. All right, I got a new fan in my computer. All right, I got more RAM. All right, I gotta get this. I gotta get that. You know, you gotta keep buying accessories to make your game just run at like 2 frame rates more, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. But did you guys have anything else to add to the retro conversation with the whole, what kind of games would you guys like to collect for or get into that you never had the fortune to do?
What I thought about this earlier is I used to have a TurboGrafx 16 with the CD add-on, and unfortunately I don't have it anymore. But I would like to try to find one so I can recollect for it, and especially replay this game I fell in love with when my brother had the system, and it came from the desert. That game was, oh my god! I mean, it was cheesy because maybe that's the way it was designed, but oh my god, the game was awesome.
The PC Engine's one of my favorite looking systems. I love the way the PC Engine looks. It's so
Bonk's Adventure. That game is like the animation was so flawless looking on that.
That game is funny as hell, and it's awesome.
I actually got Bonk's Adventure for the NES.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it's pretty uncommon.
Yeah,
but it's good. It's good.
You know, it's funny that it's so expensive on the NES because I had an NES when I was probably back when that game was cheap, but my friend gave me his TurboGrafx, and one of the games was Bonk, so that's probably why I never bought it on the NES. Had I done it, I probably would have had, a more expensive game you can't find now, but I did have it on the TurboGrafx. Well, I still do. That's what I have it on.
Yeah, it's a better game on the TurboGrafx probably.
Yeah, but the PC Engine though, like the way it looked, because it was such a simple system. It was just a white box with a little controller, and I'm a big fan of like simple shit. You know, like I like the consoles just to look simple for some reason.
Yeah, I agree. You know, one thing I will say that's changed for me that I like to collect now as a collector is variants of systems. When I was younger, I didn't care about having like the colored N64 ones. I hated that Pikachu one. I thought it was the ugliest thing, and then recently I found one on Craigslist, and I bought it. It was $50, and I love it. I think it's amazing. It's so dumb almost. It's amazing. Like Pikachu's foot is the reset button. It's so amazing. And I love collecting variants though now, like different PlayStation 1 and then like the PS1 Mini, the PlayStation 2, the PS2 Mini, the different variations of the N64, the Super Nintendo and the Mini one, the Nintendo and the Mini one, the top loader. I love collecting variants of systems now.
It's kind of cool too when you're like, when you were younger and you found some of these things were stupid. Now that you're older and you're collecting stuff, and it's like, oh wow, this is really cool now, and I want it now.
Yeah, it's cool.
Back then,
it adds like another possibility of finding things as a collector. You're not only looking for games; you're looking for systems now. Because normally, like if you go to a tag sale or a yard sale or a garage sale, and you find a place that has a bunch of games, there's probably going to be some systems. And if you can find some, it's just so cool. I like different colored GameCubes. I don't know. I just think it's cool now. Different colored Game Boys. Like I really I want the clear see-through original Game Boy. That thing is amazing.
I got
collect them all.
Yeah, I still have my original Game Boy, the gray one, but I would love to find the big see-through one.
Yeah, those are getting hard to come by too. The Play It Loud series.
Well, not even the Pocket or
I remember the Game Boy
regular
Pocket.
size Game Boy.
The Game Boy Pocket was such an improvement over those Game Boys, man. Remember the green screen and like the heavy battery sucker thing that it was. I remember I got a Game Boy Pocket, and I was like, what? It's a little smaller and the colors or whatever, and I got it in my hand. And I was like, it just felt more comfortable. The screen was bigger and clearer.
Yeah, it was definitely curvier, like for your hands and stuff, especially on the back. And the nice thing was it only took 2 batteries instead of 4. But to be fair, back when the Game Boy came out, no one was bitching about battery life. They were so happy that that thing even existed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have a funny story with the Game Boy, and if we have any young listeners that like Santa Claus, you might want to go ahead and just mute the show for just a second. But how I found out that Santa Claus wasn't real was with the Game Boy. And what happened was I was supposed to be going to sleep, but I couldn't sleep for some reason. My mom was on the phone, and she was like, "Yeah, I got him a Game Boy, but I don't have any games for it yet." And I'm like, Santa Claus is supposed to be getting me that Game Boy, not her. It's like, what is this? And I had already had my, I was already picking up on the whole, scheme. I'm like, this guy isn't real.
Yeah. Well, you at least got Tetris.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't.
What?
Yeah, my Game Boy, the Game Boy that she bought for me didn't come with any games.
Huh.
So.
Wait, when did you get a Game Boy?
When I got my Game Boy, it was probably like 2 years before the Pocket came out.
Huh.
So it was pretty old by the time I got a Game Boy, and when I got it, like, it didn't come with any games. So they had to buy the 2 games for me, and the 2 games they bought for me were these 2 Atari Classics that came with 2 games on each cart. So I was kind of bummed out as a kid, being like, I don't want to play Joust and Defender. I want to play Super Mario Land 2.
Yeah. Right. Oh God, Super Mario Land 2. That is
yeah, that's a good game. Like, yeah, it came with, but I got Joust, Defender, Asteroids, and Missile Command.
Oh, okay. Well, it's funny that like some of the first games someone would buy like for a Nintendo system is Atari games.
Yeah.
What? Any game is better than no game.
I was frozen today.
Yeah, I remember the first time seeing that Super Mario Land 2. I was like, wow, they could do these kind of graphics on this Game Boy. Yeah. Holy shit.
Dude, if you ever play the first Super Mario Land, that game is primitive as hell by
today.
Oh,
yeah.
It really is. But 2 is like leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I like it more, but I still really, really like the first one. Every time you beat a level, I think like Daisy turned into one of the enemies, and it made this noise.
Yeah.
Like when it was jumping away, and I will never forget that noise ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the shooter level. The shoot up level.
When you were in like the submarine thing?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
They had one where you were in a submarine and one that you were in a plane.
That game was tough.
It only had like what? It had like 5 levels.
Yeah, that was a short game.
I think that game was tough. Last time I played it, I was like 9.
Yeah, no, that game was really good, and that was the first game and one of the only games where Mario's Fireball actually picked up the coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, and you remember the Koopas? You would step on them and they would turn into bombs.
I don't remember.
That's right.
That was weird. I remember I stepped on one, and I'm like, I want to kick this turtle shell, and then it's exploding and killing me. I'm like, what the fuck? Freaking troll Koopas.
Yeah. No, that was a good game. A lot like my favorite game on the Game Boy will probably always be Tetris. It's just that good, and it's a different version than the arcade. If you guys have played the arcade version of Tetris, it is so brutally hard. It is so unforgiving, and it'll make you like rip someone else's hair out. It's just annoying. But the one on Game Boy is great.
I always loved the Tetris it was a Tetris Dr. Mario mashup on the Super Nintendo.
The dual cart?
Yeah. I always loved that one. Me and my friend, we still to this day go back and play that all the time.
Yeah.
We sit
Dr.
there.
Mario was okay. And it's funny that Tetris 2, which is where Dr. Mario comes from, or vice versa, and Tetris 2 is the exact same thing as Dr. Mario, but they still have fucking nothing to do with Tetris. It doesn't even involve 4, it's 3. Even a Tetris Attack has fucking nothing to do with Tetris. Straight to the cash in.
Do you guys remember Tetris Fear on the Nintendo 64?
Yep. That game is awesome. My favorite version of Tetris for the longest time was Tetris 3D for the Virtual Boy. I love that game.
Oh yeah, that was really
play it.
Oh my god, I look at a Virtual Boy and I puke.
Well, Virtual Boy ain't that bad. It's just that some of the games on there were kind of just made you wonder why they put it on there in the first place. Yeah. And I couldn't really play Tetris 3D on the Virtual Boy because I always managed to screw it up somehow. Because it's the depth of trying to put those blocks in there. It's different.
Virtual Boy supposed to be portable or what?
I don't know. That's like the age-old question.
Yeah.
No one fucking knows.
Yeah, it was. It was supposed to in the prototypes from Gunpei Yokoi. Like it was supposed to have a head strap on it.
Right. Yeah.
But I
didn't last long enough for that.
Yeah, no, it didn't. But I remember when we would go on car rides. I love the Virtual Boy, and like one reason I say I like a lot of things that a lot of people might not like is because when my sisters bought the Virtual Boy, it was brand new, clearanced out for like $18. So for me, that price, you really only find things you like about it. Like, why hate on something that's that cheap? I can understand if you paid $300 and hating the whole fucking system because you wasted money on it. But I remember they bought it for like $18, and I remember when we go on car rides, I would put the Virtual Boy, like I would put my mom's headrest up. I'd stick the Virtual Boy in as far as I could go, and then I'd push the headrest down, and I would just stick my face against the back of the back of the seat, and that's how I would play it in the car.
I can't even play a Game Boy in the car. I start getting kind of motion sickness. I couldn't imagine playing a Virtual Boy. I would just be like projectile vomit everywhere. It's like the power of Virtual Boy compels you.
Yeah, it's not something you do after a night of drinking. Oh, I'm going to play Virtual Boy.
Did you guys hear that the one thing about Virtual Boys that wear out are the lenses? The lenses in the Virtual Boys wear out, and they said that the best way to fix it is you actually bake the lenses.
Huh.
You put them in the oven.
Huh. Also, the guard that goes around the Virtual Boy to kind of cover the light from the side of your eyes, a lot of those get covered in mold and shit and mildew.
Probably from people like sweaty foreheads. trying to play Tetris.
I used to love the Virtual Boy. Like, I used to play it all the time. And one thing that's nice about the Virtual Boy is it's with the exception of a couple games, it's really simple to get an entire North American collection of all the games. The only expensive one I think on that system in North America, like that's over $100, is Jack Brothers.
Yeah.
And luckily, when I was in high school, my buddy bought it like dirt cheap and was like, "I don't even like this game. You can have it." I was like, "All right, thanks."
Well, I think we're close to probably closing it up. If you guys want to go ahead and we start doing some of our plugs.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think we'll start with you, Travis.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me by Twitter handle, which is Travis79. Facebook.com/TravisCost1979 is how you can find me on Facebook. Hence the website name. And on YouTube, you can find me YouTube.com/RoseColoredReviews and YouTube.com/RoseColoredLet'sPlay. On Thursday nights here on the lovely Retro Unlim Network, I have my own show, which is the On Radio Show. Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. This is where it's basically just imagine the Morning Zoo radio show without the FCC involved. We say whatever we want, talk about whatever we want, play whatever kind of music we want. It is very free-form, very tongue-in-cheek. If you love anything that has to do with these radio shows, you're going to love this. It's just right through the roof. And that's on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, right here exclusively on Retro Unlim. And Tuesday nights, I co-host with Michael Burhan and Miguel Leon for the Untitled Movie Show. That's Miguel's show, basically. And it's all about movies. That's Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. What about you, Zach?
All right, you guys can find me at youtube.com/gettingyournerdon. We try to put out 3 videos a week. There's always a video on Wednesday, which is a 2 Pro Noobs. It's like a Let's Play of a game we haven't played before. And then Friday we aim for is a pickup video, our show called Classic Gaming, where we do $20 challenge, where Kyla and I both get $20 for the week, and you guys can tell us who spent it better. Then we recommend a game or don't recommend a game to you, and then we give you guys a collecting tip. And actually, we're going to put a video out tomorrow for our 350 subscriber contest. So check that out, and you can also find us on Facebook. Just search Getting Your Nerd On, and Kyla's Instagram is Kiki Buttface, Kiki Buttface.
All right. What about you, Craig?
Well, if you want to catch me, I'm on Facebook, and I have a Twitter account that I don't really use, but if you want to get me, I'm on there. My Twitter handle is Craig Kells. And I also co-host on Travis's show, the On Radio Show, on Thursday nights, and I'll be here on Saturday nights. I got gameplay.
Awesome. Well, I do another gaming podcast called Excess Gaming Podcast. You guys can check it out on Podomatic.com or on iTunes. I also have a YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/XanderScullion. And you can also follow us on Twitter. On Twitter, it's Excess Gaming Podcast. And one last thing is all of my videos are also on RetroUnlim.com and the Nerd Genius as well. Michael Burhan's little network that he's got going on. And, yeah, definitely. And you can also check all of us out on I Got Gameplay. So from Travis, Zach, and Craig, and myself, we got gameplay. Have you?